It's a good afternoon from Belmore Sports Ground as Sydney Olympic host Northwest Sydney Spirit FC in a game where we learn a little bit more about both teams' premiership credentials. Olympic are unbeaten in their last two games and have got some good results against the big guns this season, and they'll be looking to do so again today. Many will be interested in how Spirit FC respond after suffering their first defeat this season at the hands of league leaders Marconi Stallions. I'm Tony Solano. It's great to have you along on the NPL New South Wales YouTube channel for this Round 11 Easter weekend of men's football. This is one of 6 big games this afternoon into the evening. Referees in the middle, Jake Rose is the referee. His assistants, Aaron Bloch and Matthew Harris. The fourth official is Luke Chapman. 6 games today. We had 2 yesterday. Sydney FC, a 2-2 draw with Wollongong Wolves, and Apia, a 2-1 win over Manly. That means if Sydney Olympic win, they can jump into the top 6 temporarily, depending on other results later today. For Northwest Sydney Spirit, they need a win to keep pace with Marconi, who dethroned them last week into first position. Captains in the middle, Corey Kavanagh and Adam Parkhouse, giving the final instructions to their troops. Big game for both sides. Of course, Spirit FC coming into this game in second position. Sydney Olympic in 8th, although it must be said, Sydney Olympic have a game in hand. Their round 8 game against the Central Coast Mariners was postponed. So they will get that one back and get themselves another chance to ascend up the ladder. So some final photos for Sydney Olympic. We'll go through their side off kickoff. The 2 changes to the starting side. Godich in for Ruiz Diaz, who will start on the bench, while Ten Qual starts for Connor O'Toole, who's not playing. So some experience in defence going to be missing for Sydney Olympic. For Northwest Sydney Spirit, the youngster Harry Keys starts in for Jacob Chidiak, who is also not playing today. Players making their way towards the centre circle. It's at the feet of Takumi Ofuka. Plenty of eyes on Spirit FC to see how they bounce back after their first loss of the season last week. There's the opening whistle. It's time for them to make amends. Sydney Olympic win the header. This contest will be won and lost in midfield for sure. So both coaches will hope sure they're marshalling their troops. See the weight of possession. Who can finish the stronger? Spirit FC, their starting side. Chris Marquez in goals. Brady Smith, Jordan Perez, and the captain, as we said, Corey Kavanagh. Yu Okubo, the striker, very dangerous. Simon Nicholas, Jamie Persevsky, and Zane Alawalia also in the starting side, along with Harry Keys and Takumi Ofuka. Their bench, Kaya Williams, Michael Conestabo, Charlie Broomhead, Thomas Mason, and the backup goalkeeper, Christopher Chen. They're coached by David Perkovic. Sydney Olympic win the throw. Josh Hong to deliver. The starting side for Sydney Olympic, Jack Gibson in goals. It's a chance here early for Sydney Olympic. Demi trying to get in front, but it'll be a throw. Ziggy Gordon in defence. Michael Vakis, Cyrus Demi, the striker, who will be dangerous. Jack Armson, Adam Parkhouse, and Zach Zoricic, along with Seth Clark in 14. Josh Hong and Ten Qual, who's got the ball at his feet now. Free kick won by Spirit FC. Donny Godich. Last player in the starting 11 and their bench, Monty Partington, Bailey Callahan, John DePizio, Dylan Ruiz Diaz, and Jackson Fowler in 23. They're coached by Labano Haliti. So two very strong lineups. Going to work early. Here they come. Nice interchange of passing from Spirit FC. A clearance, not convincing. And it'll be a throw for Spirit. Jordan Perez scored a wonder free kick a couple of weeks ago at home against the Sharks. A long throw. Header on, but not in the direction of a teammate. Spirit FC. 6 wins, 3 draws, 1 loss. Before last week's loss, they had drawn 3 of their last 4 games. Going to see if they can get back in the winner's circle for the first time since round 7 against Manly. Counter-attack from Olympic. Cyrus Demi with the ball at his feet. Looking to tee up Adam Parkhouse. And can't be converted by Zoricic. Lujukovic plays wide. For Olympic. Undefeated in their last 2 games. A slip over. An advantage played. Clark goes wide for Vakis. First shot on goal. Thought about shooting but squared it up. And Demi wasn't aware. First opportunity goes begging for Olympic. That should have been 1-0. Michael Vakis got a clean side on goal. Let's say how important that will be. Only the opening exchanges. Threads the needle, Kavanagh. Northwest Sydney Spirit undefeated away from home. 4 wins, 1 draw. Their only loss, of course, at home last week against Marconi. But it's Olympic in possession again. Clark, neat pass. Hong first time. Varquez shoots. Second time around, Demi. Good save, Marquez. Parkhouse. He'll try a looping shot, but it's headed away by Smith. Olympic, they're starting to pepper goalkeeper Marquez, but he's up to the task. Don't worry about ladder positions. Olympic are here to attack. Easter weekend of football. The Pan-Hellenic Club putting on a clinic so far. To the corner flag we go. Near post drive, but headed away. Still a throw for Olympic. Other games being played today. Halftime last time we checked, St George City and Sutherland. That's at Seymour Shaw. Marquez seizes that ball in his box. Mount Druitt and Blacktown City. That's our match of the round. Of course, we've got here Sydney Olympic and Northwest Sydney Spirit. St George Saints and Sydney United 58. Marconi take on the Central Coast. And we round it out with Rockdale taking on the Western Sydney Wanderers. Hong with the mullet, the right back. A long throw in the direction of Quoll. Ball cleared away. Olympics setting up camp. In their attacking half, want to make the most of his weight of possession. Both these teams pride themselves on defence, only conceding the 9 goals from their first 11 games. That was fairly innocuous. Goes behind to be a goal kick. Both coaches up to their feet, instructing their players. Early doors here at Belmore Sports Ground. In the 7th minute, no score between Sydney Olympic and Northwest Sydney Spirit. An update over at Seymour Shore. St George City now leading 2-0 in the 54th minute. Mount Jordan Blacktown City experiencing a short delay. Zingy Gordon back in defence. Kavanagh hits it forward. Okubo. It's been so potent. Free kick won by Olympic again. Simon Nicholas kicking that one away. Jack Armson, another one to watch for Olympic. So good in midfield. Can jag a goal, which is very important. Gordon switches for Parkhouse. A very nice pass. Parkhouse with the cross, but straight into the hands of Chris Marquez. Kavanagh man on. Nice distribution off the chest of Okubo. Gordon. And then Hong play the numbers game. Header into midfield. Clark has a lot of time. Finds Parkhouse. It was a heavy touch, but the winger done well. The sun begins to set here at Belmore Sports Ground. Neat pass from Armson. Always keen to release Adam Parkhouse. Demi sprinting and winning that ball. Quoll trying to find Parkhouse. And an offside infringement. Means that Spirit FC get the free kick. Simon Nicholas finds Perez on the touchline. Bersevsky played in the Macedonian under-21s, so international experience for him through the grades. Shoring up that back line. Pinball in midfield, eventually falls for Demi. He's looking dangerous. The former Brisbane Roar striker, Cyrus Demi. As Varkis wide, decides to go inside though. Varkis plays Demi on the turn. Can't quite pick out the bottom corner. The striker. Oh, this is shaping up to be a good game. Both teams thinking attack first. That's what we'd love to see. Hopefully plenty of goals this afternoon. An Easter treat for those fans in attendance. Ball sent forward in the path of Okubo. And they've won the free kick. No, it's gone to Olympic. Okubo. Referee Jake Rose assessing the situation. Telling Okubo to rise. Okubo third in the Golden Boot race. He's had a great season already. 7 goals in the first 11 rounds. Of course, the freak, Alek Gurushevsky from Rockdale, up the top. 12 goals in 11 games. Presley Ortiz from Apia, he's enjoying life in new colours. 8 goals for him. Nicholas Olsen from Wollongong also on 7. So Okubo looking to keep pace with the goal scorers. Lujukovic sending the ball forward. Olympic trying to keep it in. Right on halfway. Just over it now. Spirit FC. Kavanagh. Olympic win out. It's Demi again. Tackle from behind. Advantage played and eventually a free kick. So Persevsky, sensing the danger, had to give the free kick away. Cyrus Demi looking very dangerous. Getting in behind the strikers for Olympic. Cyrus Demi scored a brace in Olympic's 5-1 victory over the Sutherland Sharks. And now counter-attack at the feet of Okubo, coming to the goalkeeper. He's a great finisher, but being taken wide. Okubo getting into the box, and it'll be a corner. The referee happy with the contact. Okubo went down, but it was well negotiated. Good defending to keep Okubo out. But the threat isn't dealt with. First corner of the game for Spirit FC. It's a short corner. Lujukovic to the back post. Headed back towards the middle, but Gordon. Parkhouse couldn't clear it. Smith. Play short. For Harry Keys, very involved. And now Kavanagh had an air swing. If he would have got his boot to the ball, it could have been 1-0. Captain Corey Kavanagh had it delivered on a platter. So both teams have already had a good chance on goal. Ovakis in the opening 5 minutes. And now Kavanagh on 14 minutes. Up the line from Gordon. The scraps. Fall for Lujukovic, who was fouled. The American played college soccer at the Gonzaga Bulldogs over in the United States. Persevsky being pressed, the centre-back in that front three. They turned it over Parkhouse. Couldn't quite win the challenge. But now space for Spirit to work in. Down that right-hand channel, which I love exploring. Kavanagh. Play forward. Keys to the byline. Nice control. Harry Keys. The youngster, but good defending. Maybe needed to go first time cross on that occasion. Spirit FC will go again. It's the visitors' turn to apply the pressure. The rise of Spirit FC, especially in the first 11 rounds, can't be understated. Last season they finished 10th with the 10 wins. They've already got 6 and we're not even halfway through the season. Nicholas heading forward. Kavanagh looks up. Might fancy himself. Decides to play through. Keys. Kavanagh gets the scraps. Bending a ball in. Falls at the feet of Perez. But a nice block from Gordon. They recycle again, Spirit FC. Nice turn from Perez. And he was clipped, according to the referee. Free kick, Spirit. So the visitors starting to find their groove. It was Olympic with all the attack in the first 10 minutes. But now Spirit FC have understood the lay of the land. And now it's their turn. Perez scored a banger free kick against the Sharks a few weeks ago. Will he replicate that or deliver to his chasers? Perez hooks one away from goal, off the body, and saved by the goalkeeper, Jack Gibson. Gordon, former A-League player with the Western Sydney Wanderers and Central Coast Mariners. Long ball forward. Denby loses his man. Ball put into the middle. Qual can't quite get there. Safety first from Spirit. So just how quickly in transition Olympic can take over a position. That's what we're finding out today. Zach Zoricic. A long throw, looking for Qual. Headed away by Smith. Headed towards the byline, but it was out into touch, so it'll be a throw still. Zoricic has Demi coming forward off his chest. Plays it down, Cyrus Demi. Clark seizes on the loose ball. Fires just over the top. Seth Clark doesn't need much of an opportunity and almost took his first one there. The Northern NPL New South Wales Player of the Year last year. Really starting to announce himself in this competition. Marquez, Spirit looking to play out of the back. Nicholas, long ball looking for a Kubo. Header from a Kubo. Came over from Hills United after they were relegated last season. Mount Druitt Town Rangers coming up, trying to settle into life in NPL men's first grade. Mount Druitt Town Rangers got their local derby against Blacktown City live right now. 4 minutes gone in that one, no score. 20 minutes gone here, the same. The chest of Hong, Vaka's first time. But it was never threatening Marquez. St George City lead 2-0 over Sutherland. For the tough time of it, St George City. Going to see if they can sort of get themselves back towards that top half. 7 o'clock games, there's 3 of them tonight. Marconi taking on the Central Coast Mariners. Rockdale taking on the Western Sydney Wanderers. And the St George Saints taking on Sydney United 58. Of course, no Easter Sunday football this year. Men or women's. Women's teams playing on Easter Monday, 21st. For these two sides, Northwest Sydney Spirit women away at Manly, Cromer Park on Monday at 3:30 p.m. Sydney Olympic take on UNSW. Not too far from here at Peter Moore Field. Now strong challenge. Cyrus Demi rolling around on the ground, and we'll have our first yellow card of the afternoon to Frankie Lujukovic. In the book. It's been an intense affair so far. Between two sides who really want those 3 points. Sydney Olympic, of course, have been a bit more up and down this season. Hard to get a good read on their form. After wins against Sutherland, Mount Druitt. The losses to Sydney FC. A couple of draws against the heavyweights in Marconi and Blacktown City. So hard to really get a good read on them. Long ball forward. Parkhouse chasing, but it'll beat everyone over the byline for a goal kick. Spirit FC, 5 wins to start the season. They got some really good scalps too. St George City, Blacktown City, Apia. They've gone through a patch in the last 4 weeks where it's been draws against Rockdale, Sutherland and Sydney United 58. So for their confidence, looking to get their first win in 4 games. Throw to come for Sydney Olympic. As the Spirit FC players head towards the touchline. The bench warming up. Cyrus Demi, keen to win that ball. Brady Smith. Looking wide. Aluwalia. Now Kavanagh turning his back. Well drill side under David Perkovic. Perkovic's 9th season in charge of Northwest Sydney Spirit, of course, was there when they got promoted. And, of course, he'd love to be there if they were to take home a piece of silverware. They did in 2022 with the Waratah Cup. Love to see them on top of the league. David Perkovic, that'd be very satisfying for him. Nice work from Quoll, shrugging off his defender. Playing Varkis wide. Fires low. Safekeeping for goalkeeper Chris Marquez. So Sydney Olympic happy to sit on the counter-attack while Northwest Sydney Spirit occupy possession. Pasevsky, now Kavanagh. Coming in field. Marquez out of his box. Nicholas coming over from Apia a few seasons ago. Resolute in defence. Spirit FC, what can Brady Smith spot? Switches wide. Onto the head of Perez. For Kubal, wanted it more central. Just over halfway in this first half. No goals to speak of. Plenty of chances. Over at Seymour Shaw, 71st minute. St George City 2-0, leading Sutherland. And in the Blacktown derby, Mount Druitt and Blacktown City after 9 minutes, no goals between the two. Pasevsky. Nicholas, the back line, happy to just knock it around. Try and catch out Sydney Olympic player. Here they go, Aluwalia. Nice turn, Ofuka. Taking on Zoricic, but the defender does well. Into the path of Demi, holding it up. And now releasing Zoricic. Great work from the pair. Zoricic playing square. Now Varkis' turn. Gets beyond his man. And Varkis puts it away. Olympic ahead on 25 minutes. Listen to the crowd. Olympic looking to make a statement today. And they're going to lead from the front. One of their favourite sons, Michael Varkis. So a big roar at home for Sydney Olympic. When Olympic's going well, the league is going well. Plenty of supporters come out. Got a nice crowd in. It is Easter Saturday. Of course, happy Easter to those who celebrate Greek Orthodox Easter, which I'm sure a lot of these fans in attendance tonight follow. Catholic Easter or whatever faith you support. Fallen on the same week, which only happens once every 4 years. Spirit FC on the offensive again. Switch from Nicholas. Aluwalia falls right on his feet. Great pass. Lujukovic heading towards the 18-yard box, but turned over. Quoll Now the goal scorer, Vakis. Here they go again. Ball played wide to Parkhouse. He's so quick. How's his delivery, Parkhouse? Along the ground and knocked behind a corner. Olympic, when they get in a mood, they get in a mood. That 5-1 win against Sutherland. Managed to score 4 goals in that first half. And 3 of those in very quick succession. Momentum team, the men in the blue and white. Corner for Olympic. Bends it, near post. Header. Spirit FC will eventually deal with it. Avakis settling himself. Up the left-hand channel this time. Avakis again. Place it central, but cleared away. Zoricic, so instrumental in that first goal. Zach Zoricic. Armson. Now Gordon. Clark. Hong. Great interchange of passing. Kuol. Pass not right on the line. Lujukovic. Well-weighted pass into the path of Keys. Harry Keys. Nice turn. Needs support, Keys. Shields the ball, trying to get it to Perez. And it'll be a throw for Spirit FC. Perez wants more troops. Nicholas wanting players to start penetrating. Moving around, providing better options for the centre-backs. Kavanagh. Is there a chink in this blue and white armour? Demi's come out to press. Pressure on Nicholas. And a free kick, a dangerous tackle too. So that's Cyrus Demi in the book. Yellow card. Nicholas down. And Persevsky just having a word to Demi as well. Persevsky not happy with a number of the challenges. Good sportsmanship from Demi coming across, just checking on Nicholas. Key cog in this Northwest Sydney Spirit wheel. 15 minutes from the break. 1-0 as the Knights take effect here at Belmore Sports Ground. Around the grounds. 77 minutes gone. St George City 2-0. They lead Sutherland. Mount Druitt 0-0 against Blacktown City. And of course 1-0. Michael Vakis on 26 minutes. Kavanagh. Perez drives it low. So another throw coming for Spirit FC. Spent a lot of time here peppering. Love a goal before half-time, Spirit FC. Try and equalise. When you've been up for such a long time, like Spirit FC had before last week, they were 9 games undefeated. When you lose one, that doubt creeps in, and here come Olympic again through Quoll. Playing wide, Zoricic. Now Parkhouse joins in. Oh, neat ball for Parkhouse. Squares it up. And good work at the back by Spirit FC. Forced another Olympic corner. Jack Armson on his way to the corner flag, just tipping a couple of his chasers. Who he can find? Of course, we've got Ziggy Gordon, who's also very good at the corner flag. Near post. Header away by Smith. They'll go again. Olympic looking to double their advantage. Armson from the corner flag. Punched away by Marquez. Header away from Parkhouse. Tried to go up the line. Good defending by Clark. Coach David Perkovic taking the ball, giving some instructions to Jordan Perez on the way through. Aluwali has been dangerous on that right side. Lujukovic with that left boot. Loves to play diagonal. Lujukovic. Here he is again. Nicholas. Into the middle. Ofuka looking to bring it down. Spirit Recycle. Kavanagh. Now Perez heading towards the box. Vakis, the last touch for Olympic. It'll be a corner. Spirit FC. Corner from Lujukovic to the back post. Headed by Gordon. Defender made sure of it, but still threatening. Dangerous ball in. Hong off the chest and over the top. Can't quite claim that one. A last touch off Olympic. Yokubo on that occasion. Not too far away. Ten minutes from halftime. Spirit FC in search of an equaliser. Header into the air. Gordon headers forward. Now it's Demi. So quick. Heading wide while his chasers come to the party. Nicholas couldn't deal with that one. Clark. It was a heavy touch. In fact, it was Zoricic. That could have easily been 2-0. But Cyrus Demi causing all sorts of problems for Spirit FC. Long ball from Brady Smith. Jack Gibson, former Marconi and Western Sydney Wanderers Academy player. Gordon, long ball forward. Falls into midfield in front of Armson. Clark. And now venturing forward, Godic. Zorotic. First time ball from Armson. Parkhouse was onside, looking to feed the players in the middle. Cross goes over the top, but Varkas still has it. Hong. He plays one central. It's nice from Kual. Parkhouse wants to get in on his preferred left. Zoricic overlapping. But it's another block and corner incoming for Olympic. On 38 minutes, Olympic looking very dangerous in transition. They have the lead. 1-0 here at Belmore Sports Ground. Hasn't been a very happy hunting ground this season. Got the one win on the opening day against St George Saints. Then it was 2 draws and a loss. They want to turn it back into the fortress it once was. Armson delivers a corner to the back post. And too heavy for everybody. Clark. Varkas wins the ball. Hong. Armson, nice movement. And an even better pass. A peach for Varkas at the byline. Michael Varkas scored the first goal. Gets inside his defender. Plays it to the back stick. Zoricic is there. The threat still looms for Spirit FC. Gordon comes forward. And offside. Tipped off. The trap caught out. Michael Varkas. The right winger. Scored 5 goals last season. Going to see if he can increase that tally in season 2025. Ball knotted on. And a corner. Last touch off Olympic from that exchange. 5 minutes of normal time remaining in the first half. Lujukovic, who's on a yellow. Ready to deliver the corner. They've been very good from set pieces this year, Spirit FC. How do they deal with this one? Header away by Gordon. Alawalia brings it down. Pass like a rocket to Lujukovic. Looking for a cross. There it is, but it was blocked. Tenqual looking to tee up Demi. Here he goes. He's going to win the race to it. Get ahead of Nicholas. Cyrus Demi holding it up while others arrive. And he couldn't quite keep it in for Varkas. Cyrus Demi, born in the Ivory Coast. Spent time at Olympic FC up in Queensland. So we mentioned played for the Brisbane Roar, 26 appearances. He's also had a trial in Denmark as well. So he's had a look overseas. Okubo hasn't seen much of it. Ofuka. Alawalia this time. Bends one into the middle. Not cleared away well. Lujukovic. Olympic happy to sit. Alawalia. Header away by Hong. Kavanagh thought about a shot. Neat pass for Perez. Going to pick out a player. Can't quite. Nicholas, now Lujukovic. The press on from Demi on Posevsky. Brady Smith, but they've held the ball well here at Spirit FC. Kavanagh. Looking wide. Space and time for Perez. Thought about a cross first time, but into the body of Hong. 3 minutes of normal time. They don't want to switch off here, Olympic. Nicholas turns it over. Quoll isn't first to it, but Gordon makes sure he is. Falls favourably for Parkhouse. Former Wellington Phoenix and, of course, Manly United player. Almost 100 caps for Sydney Olympic, Adam Parkhouse. Vakis looking to turn provider this time. Michael Vakis taking on the defenders. Hong picking up the crumbs. Armson plays Zoricic wide. Well-weighted pass. Here comes Zoricic into the box, but the numbers game too strong. Keys. Was that a handball? Be a throw for Northwest Sydney Spirit. Go around the grounds one more time before the halftime break. On 90 minutes, St George City 2-0 over Sutherland. That game into injury time. Mount Jordan Blacktown, no score, just on half an hour, and 1-0. Michael Vakis in the 26th minute. Scoring for Olympic to put them ahead. Long throw. Lands for Demi. Parkhouse with his right. The block convincing enough. And then Nicholas makes sure of it. Entering injury time. Demi, nice turn. Another throw for Olympic. Piling on the pressure. David Perkovic, the coach of Northwest Sydney Spirit. I hate for his side to switch off now. They've been so good. The chest of Demi. Now Quoll. A corner this time. One of the last plays of the first half. Parkhouse from the corner flag. Delivers deep, curling around. Marquez takes it safely. Good goalkeeping. And there is the halftime whistle here at Belmore Sports Ground. It's the hosts who have the lead. At halftime, Sydney Olympic 1, lead Northwest Sydney Spirit 0. We said we're going to learn a lot about Spirit FC. Their first loss of the season last week, and now they trail 1-0 here at halftime. An important halftime talk for Coach David Perkovic. At the break, Sydney Olympic 1, lead Northwest Sydney Spirit 0. Join us back in about 10 minutes' time here on the NPL New South Wales YouTube channel live stream for all the action.
that's right. I mean,
Oh, cool. Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah.
Michael Barker's on the right side. It's like or number 9 size.
Number 9.
Yeah. It's really good, isn't it? That's the first time I've seen it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. It's been quite open, which I'm like it hasn't been too too sit back. Just both teams have had moments. And that's the story, right? We're like 11 rounds in now. And last week was the first time the yellow team had been defeated. So it's like, okay, how are they going to come back from that? So now, had their first loss as their doubt creeping in, and now they're playing another team who's quite good. Not the best, but quite good. And they're sort of, not too many, no. No, it's just both part of their two squads, It's just good, and, the green and white team is one of those frustrating teams. You can see it, but they don't know to show it. It's like you can see there that there's glimpses that they can be very good, but then they'll turn up against a team bottom of the league, phone it in, and then lose. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, what are you doing? Oh man.
Nothing works.
It's one of those bad days at the office where it's like, no. So they're all like that. For this game, they'll be like, this thing's pretty good, let's step it up. So, but it's just those other games where they're relaxing too much.
It's hard to tell. Because I haven't obviously really seen any of the other teams recently.
For sure.
Previously. I feel like Spirit might come up, even start pressure. And might start making some mistakes.
Strong chat. What's going on there?
I feel like Olympics and
Just to get out. You still playing for basketball, or you found something here, or?
Yeah, so I was doing a few like friendly kind of stuff.
Is that the one in Holmes or the one in Walmart? Yeah, the Holmes. Okay. Okay. okay, nice. Yeah, okay. Okay. Playing Moore Park or?
Yeah,
right,
playing
yeah.
Moore Park.
Yeah, I don't know. Everyone's going to Moore Park golf. Oh, really? Well, I look at the European tour and stuff like that. So some of those links courses feel like a horror to like play. Because they're tricky, not that they're beautiful, but they're like, what?
Especially
You want me to drive it through there? Like, it's 2 meters wide. Is there a cool one in Bristol or near Bristol? Okay. Been to St Andrews or? No. Because I know that's Scotland, but still, yeah. Oh, really? Okay. Well, that's the thing. I live in New Zealand. Right. So, it's like, okay. So, Have you been in New Zealand?
No.
No. Okay, yes. Do you like it? Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, Surface Paradise.
It's like that part is really tourist. Obviously, I'm a tourist. But it's just got like that pitchy feel to it.
The Ripley's still in the lobby. Yeah. It's a bit of like a Tidy's like a thing. Yeah. What's it called? Times Square and like the I know I know what you're gonna say. It's gonna
But like obviously it's really nice. It's nice. That's obviously very great.
Yeah.
We went to the very cool place as well.
Yeah. Cool. I went there. Yeah.
The restaurant on the Rick Shores.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's just like big windows or city just there.
Oh, nice. Yeah, with some is It's just super white, like and the water's very. I went to Hayman Island and they did like a day trip there, and it was lovely. Scuba dive or you don't need? Okay, yes, it's not bad. Yeah. I haven't. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. Yeah.
I couldn't take it. I did it all before. Felt like breathing. Because I felt like I wasn't in control. I was like, no.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah. You got another game tomorrow or? No. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Yep. I spend a lot of time, if you ever get the chance, I spend a lot of time, it's called Penshurst Park. It's like in Hurstville. Yeah, I'm doing like next 4 Saturdays. Yeah, so if you're around.
What was that before?
Men's. St George City. Yeah, he's the main thing. So our guy just puts us close to sort of where we live.
Yeah.
So that makes it cool. So I'll get them or I don't get as many of these as I would like. But yeah, I generally get like that ground and then on the odd occasion a couple of rounds around. So it's sort of like just pretty much happy there.
That's nice.
Yeah, I remember, I had a party up. So sometimes, because I get Saturday 7:15 or whatever, so then I'll be done about 9. And I remember, usually when I drive to this place, it's all busy. But the time when I finish soccer and went, I always like to line like, I'll be there soon. And then pretty much when I finish the text message, I was there. Like, it was just so quick. Yeah, so it was pretty good. Yeah.
2 weeks ago, I was actually like 5 minutes from my house.
Oh, really?
Which one it was?
No.
Must have been the university.
The University Green or something, maybe? NSW?
Is that
right?
one?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I heard a few of the guys here, they always say, who is it, AFL or who is it? Something like that, yeah. So what is it? Is it like, you just get assigned like different sports or just, how does it work?
It's women's and men's.
Yes? Okay. Alright, I think you just 1 minute and we're away. Unmute me and away we go.
Welcome back to the second half here at Belmore Sports Ground. At the break, it's the home side, Sydney Olympic, 1-0 up against Northwest Sydney Spirit. Always approach this game with plenty of intrigue. Northwest Sydney Spirit, their first loss of a season last week, and they're trying to regroup, but they find themselves 1-0 down against Sydney Olympic, who have been a bit stop-start this season in their 10 games. 3 wins, 4 draws, 2 losses. So played 9 and their 1 game's been postponed. So they're looking to find their groove, looking to see if they can have a nice middle part of the year. Start getting some wins on the board. So it'll be Olympic kicking us off into the second stanza. Seth Clark has the ball at his feet. Will Olympic continue to roll on? Or can Spirit fight their way back and try and get a result from here? Straight off the chest of Qual. Immediately! Just wide of the post. 10 Qual. Almost doubled the advantage of Sydney Olympic. He done that a few weeks ago, scored a goal in the opening minutes, and he almost had a goal in the opening seconds here in the second half. Very dangerous is 10 Qual. Got good pedigree. His brother, of course, Garon Qual, playing at the Newcastle United English Premier League team under 21s. And his brother, Aluk Qual, playing for the Central Coast Mariners. So 3 of the brothers all playing strong standard of football. Marquez slipped over. Kavanagh nodded it on. Olympic looking to go again. Marquez tiptoeing just on the edge of his 18-yard box. Perez couldn't quite find Kavanagh. Hong goes right back to Gibson. Be a goal kick for Olympic. We left you at half-time with 3 games going on. First game of, as course, has concluded St George City 3-0 winners over Sutherland. Not a happy opening day for Sutherland. Newly renovated ground. McNulty scored 2 goals and Ovens got the other. 1-1 Mount Druitt and Blacktown City right on half-time. Caleb Jackson-Brown, a former Blacktown City player, scoring for Mount Druitt. And Malia, of course, one of the potent goal scorers, cancelling that out. Here it's 1-0. Michael Vakis, the lone goal. Olympic looking to assert their dominance. Gurditch. Armson wanted to find Parkhouse. Falls at the feet of Clark, but he's turned it over. Ofuka, we're playing advantage. Okubo releasing Smith. Trying to go across the keeper and headed away by Olympic. So Spirit FC players still down. The referee did play advantage, otherwise it would have been a free kick. Takumi Ofuka. Getting to his feet and hobbling towards that 6-yard box. A corner kick for Spirit FC. Jordan Perez launches it into the night sky. Header up the top by Spirit FC, but not on target. There'll be a goal kick. Corresponding fixtures last season. Sydney Olympic won both fixtures, 2-1. Round 11 right here at Belmore Sports Ground. Adam Parkhouse got a goal in that game. And then, of course, over at Christie Park in Macquarie Park, more affectionately known in NPL circles these days as the Arctic Circle. A win for Olympic, looking to see if they can continue that good streak against Spirit FC. Zoricic up the line. Good defending by Smith. So Brady Smith had the shot and straight back into defence moments later. Long throw from Zoricic. Knocked into the middle by Qual. Falls for Demi! And that's a second for Olympic. They've doubled their advantage. He's looked the most likely tonight, Cyrus Demi, and he's rewarded for his efforts. 2-0. Sydney Olympic up against Spirit FC. It's a long way back for Spirit FC now. So now Spirit FC in the middle in a huddle while Chris Marquez gets attended to. Their goalkeeper. Guys having a look at each other, talking about what they need to do to get back into this game. This isn't us, they're saying. But for right now, that's the harsh reality. Look to see if they can find a way back. They were 2-0 down last week. Able to jag one back in quick succession against Marconi. Just recapping yesterday's game, Sydney FC and the Wollongong Wolves played out a 2-2 draw. Apia 2-1 over Manly United. That means it's simply Sydney Olympic win. They'll jump Manly. And the St George Saints kicking off at 7 p.m. If they don't win, the St George Saints, Sydney Olympic will jump them too. As it stands, they could be as high as 6th by the end of the round. This time will be added at the end of the game, one would assume. Both teams getting a breather. Brady Smith heading towards referee Jake Rose. Of course, referee Jake Rose, his assistants Aaron Bloch and Matthew Harris. The 4th official tonight is Luke Chapman. So a goal to Cyrus Demi, one of the pickups for Olympic this season, coming from the A-League. Blacktown City around the grounds, got a goal just before half-time. They lead 2-1 over Mount Druitt. Mitch Malia again, his 2nd goal of the night. That takes him to 8 goals for the season. He's jumped Olsen and Okubo into that position. Interesting to see if they're looking for goals, Northwest Sydney Spirit, when they may inject Michael Conestabile, the striker. His head getting taped up. Chris Marquez. Looking ahead to next week while we have the break in play. Sydney Olympic take on Manly at home. And then they take on Rockdale away. Sydney United 58 at home. And then Apia away. So a very tough stretch for Sydney Olympic. If they can get a win here to start that in what's a very tricky 5 games. So they've got Spirit tonight, obviously, where they're ahead 2-0. Manly, Rockdale, Sydney United, and Apia, the usual suspects, are always near the top of the ladder in this league. For Spirit FC, next week they take on the St George Saints at home. Then Wollongong at home, so 2 home games at Christie Park coming up for Spirit FC. And then the Central Coast Mariners away. So that's the next 3 on the trot for Spirit FC. Just awaiting the resumption. Goalkeeper Chris Marquez being taped up after he was involved in a collision after he conceded the 2nd goal. The trainer just leaving the field. And referee Jake Rose getting back towards the centre circle, which means we're moments away from restarting. But there we are. Smith, long ball forward. Out of play it goes. Long throw from Zoricic. The head of Parkhouse and then cleared away by Posevsky. Varkis. Heel forward, but no one really there to answer the call. Kavanagh was pressed. Now he turns, looks up. Who's making a run? Bending it around, nice ball. Fulker in good position. Plays back. What's going to be generated into the middle? Gordon headers away. Wasn't the best pass. And now Olympic seizing upon Varkis himself, matches that poor pass. So they escape. Spirit player tried the miracle flick. And as soon as he did that, Coach Perkovic had his hands in the air. What is going on, he says. Smith. Alawalia, the right winger. Brady Smith keeps it in. That's play on. Eventually goes out. Another long throw by Zoricic, looking for Quol. Lujukovic has worked hard in this midfield. And now loses possession. Parkhouse. Streaking down that left-hand touchline, Adam Parkhouse. Cross into the middle. Clearance not convincing. And eventually free kick. Won by Spirit FC. David Perkovic getting animated on that touchline. He knows 2 goals isn't out of the question, but 3 makes it very tricky. Ball played up the line. Hong getting in front. Keeping Perez at bay. So we approach the hour mark. Still no substitutions until right now, and it is Michael Conestable who's about to come on at the next stoppage now. Even high-fived the coach. He was ready to go, but we played on. Alawalia wants the pass. It's a nice ball for him on the chest. Lujukovic. Kavanagh. Running at defenders. Lujukovic. Tried to fling it wide, but it was touched on the way out by Spirit. It'll be a throw. And there is the whistle for the substitution. It'll be Michael Conestable coming on. Harry Keys appears to be the man who's made way. Yes, it is in 21, Harry Keys. Throw one. By Spirit FC. Smith, dangerous ball, but worked out okay. Alawalia along the carpet. Good block. Followed up by the clearance. Throw to Spirit FC. Lujukovic. Ball turned over. Nicholas clears. Armson, such control. Clark whipped it on first time. Zoricic looking for Clark. Marquez calling out his players. He'll take it from here. The goalkeeper. Corey Kavanagh, the captain. No Grant Cornwell. Perez. In that left back position. Smith being pressed. Long ball wide. It's well delivered as well on a platter. Ofuka had to go back and retrieve it. Now Ludjukovic. Kavanagh. Smith comes forward. Bends one towards Okubo. Now referee seen an infringement for offside. Zicky Gordon, such experience in defence. Done it at all levels in the A-League. Number of seasons now for Sydney Olympic. The Scotsman in the Scottish leagues before coming over to Australia. So those fixtures for those following NPL Women's. Olympic take on Sydney University, but we'll get back to that in a moment. Parkhouse trying to get around Alawalia. Does work with his speed. And Qual knocks it into the hands of the goalkeeper. So on target, but no goal. Sydney Olympic versus UNSW, Monday, April the 21st at 5 p.m. here at Peter Moore Field. Manly United women host Northwest Sydney Spirit women, Monday, April 21, 3:30 p.m. So look out for those on NPL New South Wales YouTube channel. Yellow card. And he's only just come on, Michael Conestabile. And he's given away a yellow card. Other round 7 NPL women's fixtures. Bulls FC take on Illawarra Stingrays. Mount Druitt take on University of Sydney. Macarthur Rams take on Western Sydney Wanderers. Gladesville Ravens take on the Northern Tigers. And Apia take on the Newcastle Jets. Gordon wins the header again. Ludjukovic. Now Conestabile. Can't quite find a cool ball. Vakis using his speed. Going wide, beating Perez. Michael Vakis hunting down on goal. Squares it up. Tanquol makes it 3. Olympic are having a party this Easter weekend. Tanquol, we know what potential he has. And he always shows glimpses and has so recently. Olympic 3-0. That's their second after half-time. And now Spirit FC have a very high mountain to climb. Olympic fans will be saying, where's this been? The first 11 rounds. A team stacked with potential. 10 qual included. Cyrus Demi again, nice turn. Here they go again, Olympic. Cyrus Demi plays wide. Vakis couldn't quite find Hong. Ball played forward for Varkis, but a little bit too heavy. Be a goal kick. And more substitutions incoming. Ruiz Diaz coming onto the field. We'll get his replacement for you shortly. Kaya Williams on. Djukovic off. Maybe Vakis who's come off. We'll just double check that. So a throw for Olympic. Look out for Dylan Ruiz Diaz. The leading goal scorer for Sydney Olympic with 4 goals. Zoricic has ordered everybody into the box. A long throw coming. There it is. Turning was Demi, but a sea of yellow jumpers evading the danger. Gordic. Armson, now Parkhouse. Demi slipped over and it was still effective. Qual. And now free kick. Qual still on the ground. A tough challenge. Not going from bad to worse for Spirit FC. Michael Varkis makes his way around. Getting applause from the crowd. Great shift from him, a goal, and was involved in everything. Earlier result just completed. St George City 3-0 winners over the Sutherland Sharks. Blacktown City lead 2-1 over Mount Druitt after 54 minutes. And here at Belmore Sports Ground, Olympic lead 3-0 over Spirit FC. 3 games to start at 7 p.m. Dylan Ruiz Diaz, his first involvement. And another tough tackle, this time on Clark. Now Ruiz Diaz, one of his first involvements in the game. Can it be an extra special one? Armson standing over the left as well, so 2 options. It's going away now, so it will be Ruiz Diaz. Drives it towards the bottom corner, but not on target. So nothing for Marquez to really worry about. "20 minutes from home, Olympic up 3-0. 3 games following this one. Marconi taking on the Central Coast Mariners. Rockdale taking on the Wanderers. And then St George Saints taking on Sydney United 58. Smith, now Conestabro. Can't quite keep it in at the byline. So if Spirit FC were to go down, Marconi, if they were to defeat the Central Coast Mariners, would have a 6-point advantage. A 6-point lead in the premiership race. Gian DiPizio coming on, and Teng Qual, one of the goal scorers, making way. So that's one thing. Marconi, if they beat Central Coast tonight, will be 6 points ahead. Of course, they were champions last year in the grand final. Going to see if they can become premiers in season 2025. Only team to beat Northwest Sydney Spirit up to this point. Then you start looking at things like goal difference. Spirit FC had plus 11, Marconi plus 9. Following this game, Spirit FC will go to plus 8. So below Marconi, even if they do draw them. They do go level with them. Ball threads through. Promising opportunity for Spirit FC. Sliding in Gordon. Great defending by Ziggy Gordon. He's been zigging and zagging all night. Really negating Yu Okubo and Takumi Ofuka. They've done a really good job on the Spirit front line, that's for sure. Hong. Demi wanted to peel off. Williams down back. Smith can't quite find Alawalia. Adam Parkhouse with the captain's armband. Such a respected figure in this league. Adam Parkhouse. Armson. Turn from Clark. Now Ruiz Diaz. Space wide for Hong. Crosses it towards the back post. Not too far away from netting either. So he hedged his bets. Josh Hong. Chris Marquez needs an answer from his players. Who's going to step up? It's important how they finish this game, Spirit FC, psychologically for them and the league. Williams. Kavanagh left on the ground. Free kick. They don't want to concede 5. Spirit FC, after they've been up for so long, can't let their guard down. Going to make sure they keep it to 3. Sydney Olympic have scored 5 before, as we've got an opportunity for Spirit FC. Getting inside Perez. Off the body of his opposite number and out of play. Olympic have scored 5. 5-1 victory over Sutherland, and they have scored 4 also. 4-0 win over Mount Druitt in round 9. Ofuka. His ball dispossessed. Clark couldn't quite find Demi, but the threat's not evaded. Parkhouse releasing Zoricic. Good control from Zoricic. Bearing down on goal. Good defending by Alawalia, but it'll be a corner. Dylan Ruiz Diaz, the super sub from the bench, now the dead ball specialist. Goes towards the back post, hooking around. No real danger. As mentioned, next week, Sydney Olympic take on Manly United at home. But before that, midweek football, Australia Cup, the knockout competition across the country. Sydney Olympic will take on Arncliffe Aurora, the team who defeated the NPL's Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Last round they had a 5-2 win over NPL team St George Saints. Clark, great control, pulling the strings well in midfield. For Northwest Sydney Spirit, they had a 3-1 win in round 4 against Canterbury Bankstown. And they'll take on the MacArthur Rams midweek in round 5. Manly will take on Hills United. Advantage being played. Kavanagh threads the needle for a cool ball, but just a little bit too strong. The defensive line has been great for Olympic. 2 clean sheets for Olympic, looking to see if they can bring up number 3 in season 2025. Rockdale take on Sutherland in the battle of the NPL clubs. Wollongong United, not Wollongong Wolves in NPL. Wollongong United from the Illawarra Premier League, taking on Apia. Marconi taking on Prospect United. So a Western Sydney derby there too. Aluwalia, Conestable. Okubo trying to make a run awkwardly, slipping over Gibson and just shielding it behind for a goal kick. Sydney United 58 travel to North Wollongong to take on the Tarrawanna Blueies. And Blacktown City will take on Gymea United in the Sutherland Shire Association. So plenty to look forward to midweek in the Australia Cup, the Hahn Australia Cup. Smith, a ricochet. Out comes Gibson, and Conestable sensed it. Zoricic. Clark. Parkhouse. Here comes Clark again off the 1-2. Seth Clark running into the goalkeeper. Cuts it square. Falls for Parkhouse. On the right boot. And just over the crossbar. They're playing some entertaining football. Sydney Olympic. Worth the price of admission for sure. Ten minutes of normal time remaining. Got a ditch, wins the header. Armstead. Now Demi. There's 3 and 4 Spirit FC players. Try and block him, but Parkhouse finds Clark again. Here they go again. Seth Clark tried to find his captain in Parkhouse. Free kick eventually for Spirit FC following the challenge. Marquez sending his players forward. Really need a goal just to spark something. Spirit FC. Armson. Long looking for Demi. Brought down. Clark wins the second ball. Seth Clark onside Demi. Just a heavy touch. And Marquez able to save. So Olympic, that 4th goal looking inevitable. Kavanagh will be taking the corner for Spirit FC. 9 minutes remaining. Brady Smith. Posevsky in the middle. Towards the back post. Header away by Gordon. On the volley, Conestable couldn't catch it the first time. And then he sent the second attempt into the grandstand. So Olympic with this win will jump into 6th position, knocking the door on the finals position. Still very early on, just over a third of the way into the competition. Blacktown City, if they were to beat Mount Druitt, which are on course to do now, they will join Northwest Sydney Spirit on 21 points. So a lot happening. Teams jostling for position. Zoricic, nice touch from Parkhouse. Classy from the skipper. Early cross, but Marquez there to take it. Or Fuka versus Hong, and it's Hong who wins out. Armson. Switch of play looking for Parkhouse. So much attack generated from the captain. Demi, nice control. Brady Smith playing a little bit higher in this second half. Nice ball on for Ofuka. It's come to the right of Ofuka. Smith has Okubo at the back post. And also Broomhead. There is Charlie Broomhead, the substitute. Taking it up the line. Thought about a cross. Eventually finds Ofuka. Kavanagh 1-2 of Ofuka. Near post. And Gibson was good enough. It'll be a corner. Another corner for Spirit FC. They won't get too many more chances. Taken safely and a free kick. Posesky arriving late, and Gibson didn't like that at all. Very late from the Spirit FC defender. Now Sydney Olympic will start to wind down the clock. A 3-goal advantage. With 5 minutes of normal time remaining. Marconi, Central Coast Mariners. Rockdale versus Western Sydney Wanderers. And St George Saints taking on Sydney United 58. Those are the 3 games following this one. Here on NPL New South Wales YouTube channel. I'm Tony Solano. Hope you've enjoyed the game so far. 2 very popular teams going at it. The pride of the Northwest Sydney Spirit. Taking on one of the prides of the South. Sydney Olympic, based out in Belmore, Western Sydney. Two more substitutions. Thomas Mason coming on, as is Austin Oates. For Kavanagh and Okubo. The job they've done on Okubo is studied by other teams, Olympic. Teams trying to decide it in midfield. Armson. Mason, his first involvement. Shielded off it by Armson. Throw for Olympic. Zach Zoricic. A long throw. We'll get another chance. New Zealand background, Zach Zoricic. His dad also played for Sydney Olympic. Came through the Central Coast Mariners Academy. Armson. Been conducting things in that centre circle. Jack Armson. Ruiz Diaz on the chase. And now another opportunity coming for Spirit FC. Smith, and he's to release it quickly. High boot, but we play on. Clark has Demi, but intercepted by Williams. That fourth goal becoming more and more elusive for Olympic. Crosses towards the back stick. Alawalia getting there late. So the under-20s warming up following this game. Start at 7 p.m. So the Olympic and Northwest Sydney Spirit under-20s. Gibson, long and strong. Falls at the feet of Demi. He's done really good. His body positioning has been awesome tonight. Cyrus Demi. Connor Starbolt taking his time. It was goalkeeper Gibson as the striker arrived. So entering the final minute of normal time. Ruiz Diaz. Ball popped over the top. Marquez up to the task. Gian DiPizio wanted it back. Was his initial pass. Ruiz Diaz. Trying to chip the keeper. Saw Marquez off his line, but didn't quite have the direction. A really good idea from Dylan Ruiz Diaz. That's all this game needed. Something like that. Demi peeling off Williams. Trying to tee up Parkhouse. Demi doesn't need Parkhouse. Bearing down on goal. Trying to curl it in, but a whisker away from a brace for Cyrus Demi. So that fourth goal, it's been beckoning for a good 10-15 minutes. And they may not get it, Sydney Olympic. Jackson Fowler in 23 and Bailey Callahan ready to be added to the fray. Josh Hong and Adam Parkhouse, the men being substituted. So not long left here. We're into injury time. Long ball forward looking for Mason. Oates. Posevsky. And now Nicholas. That's a neat pass. Cross ricocheted and Gordon again. The Spirit FC player down. Slowly getting to his feet. Just awaiting another ball. And there we have it, Spirit FC. One more time round the well. Williams, and that's been the story of the night. Unable to connect between the lines, Spirit FC. Been a great defensive performance for Sydney Olympic. It'll be their third clean sheet for the season. Remarkable effort. Clark. Persevsky. Of course, next week, Spirit FC host the St George Saints. Going to see if they can bounce back after 2 losses in a row. Whereas Olympic will take on Manly at home in a battle that could shore up their top 6 position. Heading towards a halfway mark. Armson traps it. About to enter the 4th minute of injury time. Cyrus Demi can watch him all day. Connor Starbo on the turn. Referee waves away the contact. The Bizio. Demi couldn't quite trap it the way he wanted to. Takes it wide. Clark. Zoricic takes a moment. Great interchange of passing along the back line. The Bizio taking his time. Can they cap it off with a goal? Sydney Olympic. Clark, here they reload again. Ruiz Diaz hunting down on goal. Ball squared up. Knocked behind by Persevsky. So now a corner. They've been chasing that 4th goal for quite some time. Jack Armson. Clark presented as a short corner. But Armson doesn't want it. Drives it off the head of Gurditch. But can't quite hit the target. Marquez wants to go quickly. Spirit, that was a dangerous pass. Spirit FC knock it around. Wondering how they get out of this 2-game losing streak. They've lost to 2 of the Australia Championship teams in Marconi Stallions and Sydney Olympic. There was a long stoppage early in the game for goalkeeper Chris Marquez to be taped up. So that time's been allotted. Callahan. Zoricic been one of the best for Olympic, as has this man, Cyrus Demi. Clark gets it back on the 1-2. Demi approaching the keeper, running around him, but comes down, and the referee says no penalty. Still on this time for Spirit FC in transition. Last 20 minutes, that's how they've been playing their football. Oates. Brady Smith. Olympic sitting down. And they get that clean sheet. Full time. A statement made by Sydney Olympic. They've defeated Northwest Sydney Spirit 3-0. Sydney Olympic knew this was a big game in front of their fans on the holiday weekends. And they've put on a clinic. 3 goals the first of the night to Michael Vakis. Then after half-time, soon after, Cyrus Demi and then Teng Kuol. So Sydney Olympic will be bouncing next week home here again at Belmore Sports Ground to take on Manly United. For Northwest Sydney Spirit, we were interested to see how they would respond after their first win of the season. It's resulted in their second loss of the season. And now they've got to pick up the pieces after a comprehensive 3-0 defeat. They'll take on the St George Saints at home at Christie Park next weekend. I'm Tony Salerno. I hope you enjoyed our coverage here on the NPL New South Wales YouTube channel. Stay tuned for the 7 p.m. games of Marconi, Central Coast Mariners, Rockdale and the Western Sydney Wanderers, as well as the St George Saints and Sydney United 58. I'm Tony Salerno. Thank you very much for your company here on NPL New South Wales TV. For everyone here at Football New South Wales, it's bye for now.